GunninGamerz here. We're finally back in the driver's seat for American Truck Simulator Driver Log number 1. I am so excited to finally start this new series out in this brand new game. As you know or may not know, we did cover quite a few driver logs over in Euro Truck Simulator, and I still might bring out a few more since they are still adding to that game. But enough about Euro Truck Simulator. Let's talk about the brand new American Truck Sim. I have really thoroughly enjoyed the last 2 weeks since this game has been out. It has been a lot of fun. Now there are definitely a few things that I want to share with all of you. We have learned a ton of new stuff since we've had some very knowledgeable people, even some beta testers for American Truck Sim that have stopped by our live streams and our TeamSpeak and helped us understand exactly some of the new mechanics of the game, as well as answering a lot of the questions that we and our community had about the new American Truck Sim, because this is a different game from Euro Truck. First off, we'll talk about my progress history. I'm at a level 15. I've played it just shy of 30 hours so far. I've driven about 2,100 miles, and my rating is 5. The skills that I have found most important is to get at least one tick right away on your high value, the fragile, and the just-in-time delivery. And then go up here and get your hazmat done. That'll increase your chances of finding a load and decrease your chances of driving home empty. And then also it's important to get your long distance, because that's going to really open up some loads that are going to start paying you more money, and it'll keep you on the road longer and spending less time unhooking and backing up trailers. Fuel economy is probably important. I've heard that if you go 1 or 2 clicks up, it puts it pretty realistic to what a real truck gets. I'm hearing that we're getting around 4 miles to the gallon right now, and if you go 1 click, it puts you up to around 7-ish. I could be wrong because I haven't done it in game myself, but the national average in the US for the big trucks I've heard is 6.5. So that's kind of up in the air. I haven't been able to prove it, and it's really not something that important to me since fuel doesn't seem to be costing me all that much money. I've kind of found it more important to at least get my loads making me a little extra coin. In a second here, we'll talk about the truck that I'm using. Down here first though, this is the name of my company, Red Eye Transport. The amount of money I have in my account right now, I'm currently sitting on one garage. That is in Las Vegas. That's where my headquarters is. And I kind of figured it out by trying to choose something that was centrally located on the map, because we know Arizona's coming, and we'll look at that map here in just a moment. Truck count, I've got 3 drivers, obviously 3. And there's your profit for the last 7 days. Now, as far as the bank goes, I've had to borrow plenty of money to get myself up and going. I don't recommend going too heavy in debt right away, even though to me it made it kind of fun because I almost lost my company twice. But we're doing okay now. We're able to make enough to cover the daily bills. But if you get going crazy in here, it'll definitely catch up to you. But sometimes if you really want to get into some nice trucks right away, it's kind of the only option. So getting back to my truck, I'm driving a Peterbilt 579 duty cabin, or day cab as many people call it. I have put on about 20,000 miles on this truck. We're not going to be looking at this one today. You can catch it in our first look video that I posted about a week or so on YouTube if you want to see it, and we'll probably ride around in it in a later date. We've got another brand new truck today though that I want to show off. So over here in diagnostics, this is one of the things that kind of threw me for a loop. If you look down here, we've got this new thing called coinsurance, and it has a dollar amount with a percent next to it, and then of course the total you pay. Now, different from Euro Truck, whenever you'd have amount of damage here, you could basically add it up and that's what you pay. In here, it's like your insurance pays part of it, and it's almost like you only pay a certain percent. The higher the percent, the more you pay from what I've found. And it seems like this is really to give us an incentive to try to drive nice. Now the highest I had mine on day 1 was up to 11%. And then it's just come down since then because I've really tried to keep a clean driving record. But I've heard of people getting up to 28%, and I even had somebody send me one over on Twitter of 47%. So who knows how high it goes, but you want to drive good, get this low percent, and when you smash your truck, just again, saying for rough numbers, you got about $1,000 up here. You're only going to pay about 4% or so down here. I could be wrong on that, but I do know for a fact the better driver you are, the lower the percent, and the less that you will pay when you do have an accident or for the wear and tear. So you got to be careful on the roads. Something else that I do want to cover as well, if you are interested in checking out the trailers that are in the game, we're not going to look at them all here. You can go into the About section and you can simply click on the trailer browser as well as the truck browser. Over here, we're going to see the 3 trucks that are in the game. The Kenworth W900, which we're going to purchase today, just came out. So we're going to buy one and hop in it. But you've got the Kenworth T680, the Pete 579, and the Kenworth W900 currently. And I've heard there's many more to come. Now, as far as the cabins go, you've got the day cab, studio sleeper, and aereo cab. Different chassis you get to unlock have different size fuel tanks and, of course, a longer frame. Another thing I want to point out, if you are brand new to the game, you're learning how to drive, and you want to play on a higher skill level as far as your backing up goes, getting in those tight yards with the long loads, you're going to probably want to choose one of the newer style trucks. They have a much shorter frame, shorter wheelbase, and they're going to be a lot better at turning. And I will go ahead and show you the difference. For instance, if you're running a day cab, you can see how they drop down over having a sleeper. So that right there is going to be a lot easier. But if you look at the Kenworth, the older style truck, these do have a longer frame on them. If you look at about from right here, this is all extra. So the older truck body definitely is longer and therefore is going to be more difficult in the yards. And then if you step all the way up to the aereo sleeper, that thing is a whole lot longer. So this is going to require a lot more skill as far as backing up. So if you're finding that the yards are really difficult and you're having a hard time getting the loads in there and not damaging them and so on and so forth, or even making the corners out on the highway, you're probably going to want to drop down to one of the newer body styles and even drop down possibly to a day cab while you work on your driver skills. Over here you can see some of the different engine options that are available, and again, it does vary for the newer trucks a little bit, but it gives you kind of a general idea of the horsepower and the torque ratings that we have in American truck right now. Now, as far as the transmissions go, this is another thing that you definitely need to take some time and look at your different options. You've got the 10 speeds, 13, and the 18 speeds, and all of them come with the option of having the retarder or not. And then when you get down here to the Allison 6, as I understand it, this is an automatic transmission option. Now, based on the different transmission options, if you're using a G27 or similar wheel setup that allows you to shift, you're going to want to go in here and either pick range or splitter, or even better yet, go to one of the Eaton Fuller 10, 13, or 18 speed setups. Now, if you are not familiar with what these are, you can just simply go to Google and check out the shift patterns for the Eaton Fuller. This is all about realism, and I did run each one of these. I like them, but the problem that I have is we don't have a steering wheel option that makes it easy to use these yet. Now, we did kind of figure out a little way around that. I won't get into that today. It basically involves using a joystick to do the shifting, but if you want to be super hardcore, this is definitely the way to go. And we did run some of this ourselves and it was fun, but it got really hard for me to do well live streaming and having all these different things going on and the music playing, and I couldn't hear my engine, and I had to get all my shifts just right. So for right now, I'm gonna keep it back in the splitter, but you've got all these different options. Again, you should come in and check each one of these out. And before we leave the options area, I do want to point out the settings that I'm going to be using for American Truck. I try to keep everything as hardcore as I can get. That's the way I like to play, but definitely come in here and you might want to make some changes to make things a little easier, more difficult. I highly recommend setting your parking on whatever level you prefer. That way you don't get asked every time you pull into the yard. I choose skilled since it gives you the most XP. So over here you notice the brand new map that we have, and yes, this is not the whole United States yet. So many people have been saying, why only 2 states? Well, if you've paid attention to SCS and all the info that they've released, their plan in the future is to try to add as many or maybe all of the entire US as we go, but it'll be a work in progress. And from their very words, they said, we consumers will vote with our wallet. So if they roll out new DLCs and we buy them, they'll just keep adding more, just like they have with Euro Truck. And I am totally on board with that. I really do hope that eventually we can drive coast to coast. Right now we get a pretty nice driving area, and do remember how large the United States is compared to Europe. Granted, this map is not as big as Euro Truck, but it is a pretty good size in comparison. This is how much I've driven. I've got 81% of it unlocked right now. California is what came with the game. They have given us Nevada on day 1, and then Arizona is following up here very soon. But they have definitely confirmed that it's coming and it'll be a free DLC. Okay, so now we've got to go ahead and crawl back to the bank and beg for more money. I'm not quite sure how much I'm going to need here, but we can go ahead and borrow 300,000 more. And I think I'm going to need to go ahead and borrow all of it. Man, are we ever in trouble. 11 grand a day. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to hire some new drivers and get them driving our old truck. So then we're going to have to go over to our company manager and upgrade our garage right away. Now we've upgraded our garage. Look at that beauty. And we even got our own fuel pump, so that'll be nice. We have 5 stalls, so 5 slots and 5 drivers. So now we can hit up the truck dealer. We're going to go find Kenworth here. Buy online. Since I've already purchased 3 trucks in the past, I get the luxury of doing that. There's the Kenworth W900 day cab. And we're going to go ahead and customize the configuration here. Now as far as the cabin goes, at my level, I could go up to the studio sleeper, but it's just going to add a big chunk into the cost, and it's going to stretch that frame out to an already long truck. So I'm going to keep it a day cab for right now and save the money. One upgrade I definitely want to do, though, if I can, is jump up to the chassis that has the 200-gallon tank. And you can see we actually just gained a tank on the other side as well. Like that realism. So now we've got the 200-gallon, and that is costing a little bit more money, not too much. Now the engine option is kind of a tough one because one more level and I know I'm going to unlock the 600 horsepower. But if you look at the difference in cost here, looking at $49,044, it's really only a few grand. So we're just going to go ahead and jump up to the 500 horse and we'll just have to upgrade later on. Transmission option, this is one that I would definitely go with the 18 like all my trucks, except I've gotten a little tip from some friends that were playing earlier today, and they said that the sound file for the 18 speed on the engine braking is a little glitchy right now. It seems like it's not maybe working properly. I haven't gone in there and checked it myself, but they've recommended going with the 13 speed, so we're going to choose that today. And as far as the interior goes, this is always a tough one for me. I think I'm just going to leave it the modern interior. Oh, what the heck, this is a classic truck. We better go classic. Colors, you could spend so much time looking at all of the different colors. I really like that graphite black, but then again, you get down here to the vintage red, and that is quite an eye-catching little paint job. There's a few more really nice ones here that I have yet to unlock. Again, you can check out all the paint jobs with your game if you go in the About section. Now this one is where all the fun begins. There's not as much to choose from as some of the mods, the American modded trucks that we've been so used to, but there's still quite a few different things that you can change. Again, you could spend quite a bit of time on this stuff. We're going to kind of speed through it today. I'm going to go with the air filter with the light bar. That basically adds that nice little light bar right there. The mirrors, double mirrors is a no-brainer. You've got the different exhaust stacks here I'm kind of looking at. I heard it's kind of hard to see out the window of this truck. Again, I've never driven it, but I do like the look of the heat shields on there, so I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll go with those for right now, and we'll change them down the road if we decide. Up on the front, I think we definitely want to add some mirrors. We've also got the option here to add the metal deflector. Down here is always another hard choice. Look at all the options, but I do like those lights. Can you say metal fender guards, anyone? Can't forget about the blind mount visor. Something else I want to point out here is this visor does kind of block the view a little bit if we jump to the interior. It kind of hangs down. Not too bad unless if you really enjoy staring at the sky. I kind of like to keep my visibility a little bit more open to make things more interesting during my videos and live streams, but this thing does look pretty awesome, and it's kind of a hard decision for me. I think we'll keep it though, for today. Up here you can also get 9 roof cabin lights. Might as well throw them on. Back on the mud flaps, you've got a few different choices. I'm sure this is going to be the one that everybody chooses, but I'm going to go ahead and go with the chrome mud flaps. Now, as far as rim options, you've got several more to choose from. I haven't unlocked some of the nicer ones. I know there's kind of a blacked out one here at level 24. I think we're going to probably go with the Seagull. I think those look pretty nice on there. Again, these right here might come in handy if they ever implement aerodynamics for saving fuel and getting better fuel mileage. A rim like this would probably be pretty important. But right now, we don't have those features, so I'm going to stick with something that looks a little bit more normal. Okay, well you can see that price tag of our new truck is going to be about $166, and we're going to hit confirm. Now we just need to go ahead and hit that button and send it over to our main shop. Something else to think about when you do buy your trucks, you do see the note here that it says, please note that all trucks bought here have regular insurance paid already. Does that mean we're going to have different insurance options to choose from? Wow, look at that beauty. I cannot wait to blaze some trails with this thing and get that engine started. Oh, does that thing sound nice? Here's the interior. Again, I don't know. I kind of like the other one a little bit better, but this is a classic. I love the dash on it. Alright, well there it is. We're going to go ahead and park it for just a second. I need to go ahead and get a driver driving my old rig. So to do that, we'll jump down to the recruitment agency and we'll see who's needing a job today. We've got a couple people. Their rank is not very high, but I remember this guy. He was one of the first drivers that I ever had in Eurotruck. Apparently he too has come to the US looking for work. We're going to hire him and we'll have him drive my old truck. Now I've got 47,000 left. That unfortunately is not going to be enough money to get another truck. Time to hit the job market and find some new freight to haul. Again, I chose Las Vegas since it'll be centrally located once they add Arizona, and I'd have to assume if they added some more states, we'd be looking at Utah and all the states up around it, so I'll be kind of dead center. It looks like today we've got cars that are paying the most right now, and they're not too far away. I'm gonna take this one, even though it's 1 cent less a mile. I like this drive a lot better because the speed limits are a lot higher in Nevada, and it's a lot harder to get a ticket than it is in California. So we're gonna go ahead and haul from Las Vegas up here to Elko. I'll set it on our GPS. We're going to get hitting the road. Now, one thing that definitely a lot of people have been talking about in this new American truck is how expensive the fines have been. I know it was something that I had complained a little bit about myself. Even though they're realistic, they were really, really easy to get. There was basically no mercy from the police whatsoever. If you were going 2-3 miles over, you'd get nailed with a ticket. And I basically had to kind of learn how to really just drive slower than what the posted speed was, and that way I wouldn't have to worry so much about getting ticketed. Now they have gone ahead and supposedly made some adjustments to that, and the tickets, instead of just being a flat $1,000, they are based on your skill level in the game. That is new as of today when the W900 came out. Definitely like that engine brake. It does seem to cut out though. Alright, it looks like we're going to be grabbing our cars from this place right here, and it is so much different having that visor on. I'm going to probably end up changing that out, but for today we'll run it as is because we got to look cool. Alright, there's our load right there, getting paid about $25 a mile. And yeah, you do definitely have that pipe kind of right in your way when you stick your head out the window. In the day cab, though, we can still see behind us a little bit. A little bit. Alright. It's going to be tricky with this truck when you get the sleeper cab on it. You don't have that window anymore, and you can't really see out behind you. You're really going to have to rely on your mirrors. And I will say, these mirrors are the best out of the 3 trucks so far that I've seen. The passenger mirror in the newer trucks is almost not even usable. I can't see it. But with the fact in the day cab you can look out this window and easily see behind those trucks, it's not too big of a deal. But this truck here, it's good that we've got better mirrors, because we're going to need them. Alright, so it looks like we're going to be hanging a right out of town here, although it probably doesn't matter because all the roads lead the same place eventually. We're going to try not to get pulled over going out of town here. It's really hard to see those lights. I think I just drove through I don't know, there wasn't a light there. I am so definitely going to pull that visor off. That thing is really hard to see out of. Again, if you want to check out the difference between this and one of the newer style trucks, or the Pete, we did our first look video in that Pete, and that thing really was nice to drive. This truck is such a beast though. And it's vanilla, no mods. And with that being said, I'm not using any mods in this game right now anyway. I've put one skin for the Pete day cab in, but that was it. I'm keeping my game all vanilla. I've got so many people that send me requests all the time to try out different mods and let me know about different mods. Mods that make things easier, mods that shut the police off, mods that make, you know, lesser fines. And as I've stated many times over in our Twitch streams, I don't want anything that makes the game easier. I want to play it as SCS intended it to be played, so that I can get the most out of it. Some things I have disagreed with the fines and whatnot, but that's what they had, so I'll let them adjust it as they apparently have now, and that's just the way I'm going to do the game. I will end up doing lots of mods down the road, but I really want to get the most out of this vanilla experience first. We've got a couple of classics in front of us here. I like that tire noise that you get off the road. Kind of hard to hear, but there are different tire options we spoke about, the actual rubber, and I think my guess is, the rumors that I've heard is maybe that they'll implement something with fuel mileage, and that's where we're going to want to upgrade our tires. But right now there's really no reason that I've found to put the advanced tires or whatever the other levels are that they have, so I just run with the stock rubber and it gets the job done. It would be interesting though if they implemented the fuel mileage stuff, because then you'd have to think about the accessories and the style of your truck. Obviously this one right here probably won't be as practical. It does say I'm getting 8.8 miles to the gallon right now. That is kind of neat because I couldn't really see that on my other truck. I'm sure it was there. Our speed limit is 70. I absolutely love the GPS on this thing, telling me the speed limit. The dash seems pretty easy to read too. You really don't have to have this thing up on here, which is nice because I like to have as much realism as possible. Except for that right there. What was that? I didn't get a ticket. I must have had a loan come out. Yeah, it's 12 o'clock noon, so scares the hell out of me every time. If SCS could do me a big favor, causing me heart attacks when I'm driving, make the loan sound different from the sound we get when we get a speeding ticket or something like that. I'm only going 50 miles an hour and I can be doing 70, so we need to really kick it in the butt. The steering is really sensitive in these trucks. I know it has to do with my dead zone, but I just can't find the right setting so far. I can't tell what gear I'm in. Yeah, we are in gear 13. So this thing is pretty much hammered down. Man, that is a beautiful sound. I came up a little bit quick, so I couldn't really hear it for too long. This is a fairly light load anyway for a truck like this. I am not using Track IR. I'm very tempted to get one for my videos. A lot of people in the streams are telling me all the time that I should get one. And I know they are wonderful. They work really nice. I know people that have them, and I would have bought one a long time ago. But being that I normally stream this game more than anything else, I don't think they work very well for streaming when you have multiple monitors set up like mine and you're looking off to the side all the time to read your chat and you're looking off to the other screen to read stuff. You tend to get a lot of this going on in the stream, and it's really kind of annoying for people that are watching you during the stream when they're constantly staring off out the side passenger window as you're reading your chat. So that's the only reason why I haven't gotten one, but it would be really lovely to have one for these videos, because the mouse option is a little bit hard to do when you're trying to shift at the same time. A little bit high on my revs there. Hopefully with that 200-gallon fuel tank, we'll be able to go a little bit farther here. Must have hit some speed restriction here. What's going on? Still 70. These buses, they just drive you crazy on how slow they drive. It's kind of like real life. And we're looking at 10 tons total. I forgot to mention that earlier. I feel like I'm speeding, and yet I've hardly hit the speed limit, which again is 70. There's our copper. They are everywhere, and they are, like I said, very unforgiving. I've had one instance where I got a ticket going 2 miles over the speed limit. However, I've heard that it's coded to ticket you at 3 miles over, but I was streaming, it said 32, and I was getting picked on at that small little extra speed. So only 2 miles over. $1,000. And I guess, like I said, that's supposed to be a lot less now. I'm almost half tempted to try to get myself a ticket here. Man, that even sounds good inside the cab. Alright. now we are in town. We gotta slow down. It always tells you to go around. That's another thing about this game that's different from... Well, it's not really different at all from Euro Truck, but it seems like the little bit of roads we have, I'm having to do it a lot, is go in and really look at my route, because it kind of likes to do things like this, which is good. That's what a real-life trucker has to do. They've got to look at their route and plan it, because sometimes the GPS doesn't always tell you to go in the right place or take the best route when it's trying to calculate the shortest. And now I'm going to be right behind this stinking bus. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he drove off a cliff back there, but I want to get out before we get stuck behind him anymore. Try to hammer her down. One thing I definitely like about this American truck is that whole insurance factor of having to be really careful and keeping your driving in check. And that was a challenge for me. I know with Euro Truck, I found little challenge in the game itself. It was really easy to get money. The cops, there really weren't any. It was the speed cameras, and they were pretty forgiving. I mean, you'd get a few, but you'd see them coming. And even the red lights were forgiving. Like, you could go through a lot of the red lights. It seemed like 50% of the time you'd get one, and 50% you wouldn't. And in there, the challenge for me really was just seeing how fast and hard I could push it with the loads I was hauling. And I know that's not very realistic, but this game has definitely brought an entire new thing as far as having to try not to get into accidents, and it's kind of like a little competition that I've got going with a group of people that I know play the game, and right now I'm at 4%. I'm trying really hard to keep my driving in line to see if I can get that number down at all. I don't know how low it goes, but it's been dropping slowly. I never even looked to see what it was at the beginning. Might have to go back in that first look video that I put up from our Twitch live stream. I know I had some old habits in that. I was hitting a few things and really pushing my luck. This truck really does get up and go. Again, we're only running the 500 horsepower, and there's a 600, and I think it's a 650. Looks like we might be coming into town here. Gosh, that's a beautiful sound. Never gets old. I gotta get over though. Not really paying attention to what I'm doing here. Right in the middle of town. Yeah, it seems like there's still a little bit of popping with that sound file. I'm hearing a little bit. I really gotta keep my revs in line, getting a little bit sloppy about that. If you want to keep that fuel economy up, gotta get shifted by the 15. 1,500 RPM. Your power band right between that and 1,000. Like I said earlier, I really wish I could use that Eaton Fuller shift pattern that they put in this game. That is really a nice piece of realism that they added. I did it during the one load that I ran to get my achievement for having a 600 plus mile run, no tickets, no damage, get the load on time. I got that achievement done with the Eaton Fuller. It was a lot of work trying to get used to that shift pattern, and like I said, I absolutely loved it, except we really need a company now like SciTech to come along and make us a precision control system for the truck simulator, so that we've got the 2 extra buttons on the shifter that we need. It's a little bit difficult right now. And there comes that damn train. It's always driving around with hardly nothing. Oh yeah, it is empty. I thought it had a couple flat cars. It's always just tooling around. And they have commercials on TV here in the States for our train companies saying, and they're making fun of us truck drivers, saying that they're much more economical. Apparently, not in the game. Always driving around empty. That's because we're dominating in the haul here. We're hauling everything. I can't even see my load when I look out. Holy cow. Now we're stuck behind a bunch of traffic, and this is really tempting me to want to do some passing, but again, it all comes back to keeping my driving in line. Got a guy hauling flammable up here. His load is probably worth more than mine. I haven't gotten too many tickets for driving on the wrong side, but at the same time, I haven't seen very many passing lanes either, which is kind of drives me a little bit crazy. Because out west, there's a lot of opportunity to pass. Of course, our roads are a whole lot more flat and a whole lot, more wide open. And I think they kind of made it like this for the reason of not making the drive so monotonous and boring. Man, we got a couple of blind corners coming up here. Oh my goodness. 35 miles an hour here. We gotta get over anyways. One thing too that a lot of folks have been asking about, I've seen it on the forums, or the question of why... Uh-oh, we're gonna be stuck behind a couple people. I was hoping they'd all go straight. Or why the trucks don't get dirty. And that's a really, I think, an important topic. From the way it's been explained to me, is that it's in the contract for the truck companies. They've got it in the contract for SCS to keep their trucks clean and undamaged. So we're not going to be seeing trucks getting dirty. We're not going to see trucks that are getting smashed up and showing damage. A lot of people asking if they would add damage. It's something that SCS, from my understanding, cannot do. It's right in the licensing agreement. And I know, as silly as it sounds, to us, this is a game. To the truck companies, this is marketing. And what that basically means is that they are, I'm guessing, many of the CEOs and the higher-uppers with the truck manufacturers, they probably don't go home at the end of the day, hop on their gaming rig and do some truck simulating. They should. It's a lot of fun. But to them, it's all about marketing, and they probably view this game as a marketing tool to show off their trucks. It's almost like, to me, I wonder if they really understand what this is all about. But at the end of the day, I guess we're all just thankful that they give the licensing and we can have these really nice trucks in here. And so that kind of brings up another question of why there wasn't so many trucks in the initial release. And from the way it's been explained to me, the major reason was they, I guess, probably didn't want to take and risk making these companies mad. These American companies probably work a little bit different than the European brands do, and they probably didn't want to roll out a bunch of imitation trucks using different names like they did with Euro Truck and end up risking, upsetting the companies that they're trying to get licensing from. Because you're kind of trying basically at that point to bypass their licensing by saying, hey, we're gonna make a Kenworth, W900, and we're gonna go ahead and make her look just like the real deal, and we're just gonna call it a, whatever, a Kenworthless, or that would be terrible. But they changed the name and obviously upset the company, or could possibly. And again, if it was my guess, wow, we came into that one hot. I'm wondering if that's why it took so long to get the licensing for the Mercedes. In Euro Truck, we had the Majestic. Oh, I hate when these people do this. Get out of the way. That is the saddest horn in the world. So it's very unlikely, in fact, I think we'll never probably see the dirty trucks or smashed up trucks in the game unless if the modders somehow manage to get it done. Come on. You just have to inch your way out there. Oh, this is bad. I'm going to end up hitting. Don't hit the cops. Oh my goodness. I wonder if I bumped into him. Holy cow. The AI, they sometimes just make you want to pull your hair out. It's probably like real life trucking. You got the four-wheelers, as they call them. The regular passenger cars and whatnot that just tick you off when you're out here trying to get a job done. Now we're going to hammer it down and try to get it up to 80, which is almost burying the speedo. There's a lot of things, you know, that we all have to take into consideration with this game, and they've really, again, given us a heck of a value for the money. A lot of people have asked me in the live streams, do you think this game is worth it? Do you like it? Answer both of those questions. It's a big, big, definite yes. I love the game, and yes, it is totally worth it. Oh, are you kidding me? Getting called in here now. It's just about to get the speed going here, and now they gotta have a look at our load. Make sure you don't skip these. I never have, so I don't know what the fine is. All you gotta do is drive in and hit enter. Alright. That wasn't so bad. Never gotten a ticket or anything. I often wonder what's going to happen when I start doing the modded loads that are heavy haul, if they're going to actually really get us or not. Jump into gear 13. I don't think we got too much farther up here to go before we got to get off the road. Kind of ticks me off a little bit. Trying to get up to speed here. The traffic is so thick today, though. Yeah, it looks like I've got to get over here. Oh, are you kidding? Coming off the off-ramp on my brakes, trying to have some epic engine braking, and I get a $1,000 ticket out of it. Oh, that's just crazy. They are just unforgiving. Well, he probably could have ticketed me for the, all the noise I was making. It's really hard to see the light in here. Friggin' suicide visor there, big time. Gosh, those things are terrible. I had a few visors like that in some mods that I ran, and boy, oh boy, these are terrible. Definitely going to be pulling that thing off. Hopefully it didn't ruin my video too much. I guess if we get no views, we'll know why. It's all because of the visor. Alright, we don't have too much farther to go here. I'm really bummed out about getting that ticket. Kind of a bunch of shenanigans there. 80 mile an hour was the speed on the road there, and of course being in third person, having some fun with the brake, and then I get nailed for going too fast. I don't know, I suppose they wanted me to go 30 on the off-ramp or something. A little bit of a bummer, but we won't let us get us down. Now we're gonna see one of the last things that well, there's many things, but one of the really awesome things about American Truck is the parking. And it looks like this one is gonna make us work a little bit. You can see it over there. So this is gonna be a fun experience with the new truck. And we've got to back it in over there. However, I don't think we got enough room to kind of back in and around here. I'm tempted to try it, but I've already done that with the newer style truck and it was kind of a no-go. So, this is really gonna be a real bugger. I'm gonna see if I can, I don't know, this might not be very realistic, so you might have to close your eyes. Because if I back all the way out, I could back all the way out and then I could pull straight in and back up and go all the way around in a U. Try not to jackknife the trailer. We're gonna pull this maneuver here. Actually, so I can't see my trailer here. Can't tell if I think we're gonna hit. I think we're gonna hit there. My one mirror just doesn't go up far enough in my little mirror on the bottom there. I can't really see it too well. Well, that's what we're looking for. It's the luck of the draw where you're gonna get parked, and it definitely threw us the most difficult one for this load. There's no doubt. What a way to break in the new truck. Now we're gonna have another problem here. Besides the fact that this guy won't stop making all that yawning. He's bored. Don't want to hit those posts on the one side, but so hard to see in that mirror. I'm just squinting right now. And we're gonna hit those posts. Definitely a lot easier with the newer trucks. Are we there yet? It's not gonna be ideal. Let's just pull straight forward and now we should have it. Can kind of watch a little bit easier in this mirror. This is what makes her all fun though, at the end of the day. Alright, 27 tries, we got her in there with excellent. And 12,500, that was definitely not that much money in the bank. I've had up to 24,000 I made on a run, but this one wasn't that long anyway. So we got the job done there. Everything was pretty good, got our bonuses. And basically, back on the road. Where we're gonna find a shop to get some sleep. Actually, I've been to this place a few times. I think I might be thinking of somewhere else, but I think there's a rest stop up on the side of the road. One thing I'd like to see changed in the future, if they ever could, is if you have a day cab, they should force you to have to sleep in a motel, which should cost you about $100, or your sleep bar should jump up double the next day. In other words, if you can go, I don't even actually know what it is, 10 hours, 12 hours, whatever you can drive in a day, they should make it, in my opinion, where you can only go half or 3/4 of that before you're tired. Basically, your bar goes up faster because of the quality of sleep you're going to get sitting upright in a seat like this. It's not impossible to sleep in this cab, but it's just, I don't know, you're not going to get a good sleep. So it should force you to go to a motel, pay a little bit of money, and then you'll get good sleep, or you can sleep in the truck, but it's not going to be a good quality sleep. I think that kind of add a new dimension to it. And it would definitely, at this point, make me want to upgrade my truck, because with what you just saw back there, the skilled parking, imagine doing that with this truck in a sleeper cab. And a long, you know, a much longer load, because the car trailer at the end of the day is not that long. I'm not going to call it impossible for fear of basically being made fun of on the internet, but definitely would be maybe outside my skill level. Although I would like to have that challenge. Maybe we'll get that in a future driver log, and then you all can laugh at me. See if I can get some Jake breaking in town here. I think I actually missed my my turn there. Oh boy, did I ever. I don't know if U-turns are legal here, but we're gonna do one. This thing really just turns on a dime. Looks like, yeah, this is a truck dealer, okay. Making all kind of racket, letting them know we're coming. And we'll see what kind of damage we got. Obviously, it'll be, I think we didn't have any mishaps, but there we go. Service over here. We're looking at $177, which most of it was tire wear and a little bit on the engine, probably from my over revving that I did. And we'll get better at that. Basically, not too bad. And again, don't have to pay a whole lot, so it's really not too bad there. The tickets are a little bit out there. At least when you go to fix up the truck in American Truck, it seems very reasonable. And this video got a whole lot longer than I wanted it to, so I do apologize for that. I'm trying to keep these things short, but it's hard to do without skipping out a bunch of the driving, and that's what, you know, people come to they come for. And if I don't explain things in the video, then I get blasted in the comments for not knowing what's going on. So I like to have a little bit of chit chat in the beginning, but the future of these logs will try to get things done a little bit more timely manner. Wow. Do not try to sleep with your engine running, or it'll make that very loud noise. We're gonna go ahead and get some rest. It is an entirely new day here, and we have our truck parked. And I think we'll probably take a break there. This is where we'll be picking up on our next, not our next driver log, but our next Twitch live stream. And that's why I say you got to get over to twitch.tv/GunninGamerz. And you can check us out over there for all the fun that we have driving. And maybe if you're lucky and you're around for it, you might even catch us running one of those red-eye run-in with GunninGamerz. So those are always a lot of fun. We'll be doing some of those more in the future. We'll be rolling out the driver log here. I'm not sure when the next one will come out, but certainly when they add Arizona, I'll bust another one out. So it could be a week, it could be a month. We just don't know. But I'll try to get to one again in a month anyway, even if Arizona is put off. I want to thank you all for watching this video. Do not forget to hit that like button. Leave us some comments. And if you're looking for some people to run the multiplayer trucking with, since that did come out already, the mod, jump into our TeamSpeak or jump onto our Steam community, GunninGamerz on Steam. All the links are below. You can find lots of other people playing the game and get into some big convoys. Those are always fun to do, and I might be doing some of those in the future myself. So until next time, keep her between the lines and take care.